What's up, world? Welcome back to another episode of Just Grow It, the podcast. I'm your host, Big City Gardener, and today we are talking, where do you get your soil from? So let's get into it. Whenever you're starting a new garden project or you are expanding your garden, you are going to need soil. Soil is one of the two most expensive factors when it comes to gardening. The other being whatever you decide to make your garden out of if you are using a raised bed or containers. Now, soil is actually the most important aspect of gardening. If your soil is good, strong, healthy, you will usually have a good harvest. You have poor soil, poor harvest. So now the question is, where do we purchase soil from? Now, the first option for purchasing soil is from a big box store. Now, these are your big time hardware stores or even your grocery stores of things of that nature. Now, one of the benefits of purchasing soil from here is that you have plenty of options. You can get soil from as cheap as $1 a bag all the way up to probably $15 a bag. Now, with all these options, we have to keep something in mind. The quality of soil is directly related to the price. So, $1 soil is probably going to be poorer quality than $15 soil. So keep that in mind whenever we're at the store looking for soil for our garden. Now, we'll talk about the difference between garden soil and potting soil in another episode. In this one, we're just talking about what to look for whenever we go to these stores. Now, at the big box stores, you will find a few quality options. But for the most part, hey man, some of them are kind of sketchy, okay? And I just feel that way because it is very hard to keep quality at a top level whenever you are such a big organization, okay? And since soil is the most important aspect when it comes to our garden, especially when we're starting a new garden, I want to make sure that you purchase quality soil. And I want to make sure that it has quality ingredients. And that's one thing that I kind of question with a lot of the soil at the big box stores. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot find any quality soil at these big box stores. That is not true. Now, if I were to recommend a brand, which I'm not, I would say look for the brand where the bags are like $7.97 or so a bag. All right. And they have fantastic organic options. Now, whenever you go to these big box stores, what you're going to want to do is look for organic soil. And that is because the organic is the best. We've already talked about it. Whatever is in the roots of the plants makes its way out in the leaves, the stem, or the fruit. So we want to make sure we are not putting any chemicals in our body and we are growing the most nutrient-dense food possible. Now, when it comes to the big box stores, if I'm only looking for one bag of soil or so, then I have no issues going there and getting a bag. But for the most part, I really prefer purchasing my soil from the second option, and that is a nursery of some sort. Now, nurseries are my favorite option because really you get everything you get from a big box store and more. All right, you go to a reputable nursery, a good nursery, they're going to have crazy amount of options when it comes to soil. They're going to have specialty soils. They're going to have lower quality soils all the way up to the best that you can get. Now, I will say that the lower quality soils from nurseries are going to be levels and levels above and better than the lower quality soils that you can purchase from the big box store. All right, at the big box store, I said you can get a bag of soil for probably $1 a bag, while at a nursery, the cheapest bag of soil may be something like $7 or $8. I'm not sure on the exact price, but hey, man, like I said, you get what you pay for in life. One thing I love about purchasing soil from nurseries is that you get more than just the soil. All right, you're able to strike up a conversation with somebody who is probably and usually knowledgeable about gardening. So you can tell them what it is that you are planning to grow in. You can tell them what it is you are planning to grow, and they can kind of point you in the right direction. See, you have to pay for that knowledge, and you pay for it with a higher priced product. But that should not be a problem, because we should always look to support small local businesses. Now, I especially love nurseries for compost, okay? I would tell you stay away from compost that you get from the big box stores. And that's just because, well, one, compost is magical, and there's so much that can go wrong if you get the wrong compost, okay? We know that compost takes a certain amount of time to break down. It can take over a year for some compost to be made, right? Think about leaf mold. Leaf mold can take 2 years before it's ready to be screened and bagged and sold. I don't know how long the big box stores or the companies that supply the big box stores, I don't know how long they composted that product for. I also don't know what they put into that product. Like I said, I find it hard to keep quality high whenever we're having to ship thousands of bags across the nation. So, especially for compost, I'm headed to a nursery. Now, the third option on where to purchase your soil from is, it's really more for if you have a big garden project, and these are your soil yards. And when you go to a soil yard, you are able to get the same soil options as you find at the nursery. So if you go to a nursery and you find a soil company that you like, you can head on over to the soil yard, and they will have that soil in bulk. And now once you're buying it in bulk, the price definitely drops and the price changes. A word of advice: if you're looking to buy bulk soil, you will always get a better deal if you buy the soil not bagged, just loose. So make sure you bring a truck or a trailer, or, have them deliver it to you, but you better be prepared to pay that delivery fee. Like, delivery fee on 1 yard of soil is it's kind of sketchy, okay? It's kind of high. It'll usually be higher than the product that you're purchasing. So what I like to say is, if I'm doing a gardening project and I need more than 1.5, 2 yards, cubic yards of soil, I'm going directly to the soil yard. But if I'm doing a project and all I need is 1 cubic yard of soil, I do not have any problem going to a local nursery and purchasing that amount of soil. Now, one thing to keep in mind whenever we purchase soil from a soil yard is it doesn't come bagged often. Now, you can get it bagged, but your savings come when you purchase it just in bulk. And when it's not bagged, that means you're going to have to throw it in a wheelbarrow and get it into your garden somehow, some way. So keep that in mind whenever you're building these raised beds. While they're tall and they may be beautiful, putting a yard or 2 yards of soil into a bed that's 2 to 3 feet off the ground by yourself can get pretty tiring, and it can be pretty hard. And those are just some things to think about whenever you are going to purchase soil for your garden. Now, like I said, I'm not here to promote any companies. I'm not here to tell you that anybody makes great products or does not make great products. But I will tell you, all of my best experiences when it comes to gardening have come from purchasing soil directly from a nursery or from the soil yard. Word of advice: not all soil from soil yards is created equally. I know of a company that does a process they call hot composting, where they tell me that they're able to turn out compost in 3 months or less. And one time, actually here in my house, I bought their soil probably 8, 9, 10 years ago when I set up my garden here. And for the first 2 years, it was lifeless, man. It was a horrible decision. I went the cheap route, and I shouldn't have, but I learned, and now I'm passing that information on to you. Don't go cheap when you buy your soil, and if you're buying a lot, get it from a soil yard. I think that's it for today. Until the next episode, you know what to do. Get outside, get your hands in the dirt, and just grow it. I'll see y'all next time. Before I let you go, I need you to do more than one thing. First, I need you to like, comment, subscribe to the podcast. Second, I need you to tell a friend or two about the show if you enjoyed it. And If you have anybody you think I need to talk to, I should interview, send the name over, put it in the comments, or send me an email, igrow@bigcitygardener. And check me out, man, on Instagram and on all social media platforms, Big City Gardener. We out. Oh, almost forgot. Just grow it.